If you ask a random person what their favorite Blaxploitation film is, you'll probably hear something like, Blaxploitation? I'm not going to watch a movie that exploits black people. But if you ask someone who's more informed than Becky, then you'll probably hear things like Coffee or Superfly, Shaft, Trouble Man. What you probably won't hear about is MMA, and that's really too bad because MMA is a fantastic movie and I really wish more people knew about it. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. Today I'm taking a look at MMA from 1976. This film comes to us from writer-director Jamaa Fanaka. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. And it's his second student film. He did this one and his first film, Welcome Home, Brother Charles, while he was a bachelor student at UCLA. How freaking crazy. This guy had 2 films in the theater before he graduated. But this isn't the film he's famous for. He's most famous for Penitentiary, which was his master's thesis film, which means before he finished graduate school, he had 3 movies that played in movie theaters. Man, wow. Anyway, MMA stars Jerry Hayes in the title role, and she plays a country girl whose mother has died, and she has come to Los Angeles to live with her aunt and cousins. She is, as you might expect, a bit naive as far as life in the big city is concerned.
You ever had a taco before?
Taco?
Yeah, you never had one?
I ain't never had no taco.
What? You're in for a treat today, Emma. Come on.
Never even had a taco. Man, Mississippi really does suck. Anyway, the day she arrives, her cousins take her to a party at the university student union, or something like that, and she gets into kind of a scuffle with a local ne'er-do-well. She also gets introduced to Jesse. At the time, he is stoned out of his mind, and MMA thinks that he's just drunk. But she also thinks he's a bit cute. And Jesse, in turn, takes an interest in this country gal, and the next day, or maybe it's even later that night, it's difficult to tell, I'll talk more about that later, he stops by MMA's place and then takes her to a party. At the party, another fight breaks out, again involving that ne'er-do-well. Man, that guy is trouble. And holy shit, considering this is a low-budget student film, that's probably really dangerous. The film's main drama kicks off the next day. The boyfriends of the cousins, they pick up Jesse and his friend, the ne'er-do-well, and while they're in the car, this argument starts, a little bit of a fight, and the car, in turn, they're driving sort of sporadically, and this catches the attention of the police, and, well, police plus young black guys, that's not a good situation. And the cops start to get a little aggressive. Well, aggressive for 1970s. If this were a modern movie, they would just shoot everyone and go on vacation. And when Jesse is threatened, MMA inserts herself into the situation. Hell yeah, kick ass, girl. And now she's on the lam. Good news is the cops don't know who she is, but bad news, they do know who Jesse is. And they eventually track him down and arrest him. And then MMA starts working on a plan to get him out of jail, and that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. MMA is a great character. She's not exactly what you might think from reading like the back of the box or whatever. She's not a country bumpkin. She's smart and capable, and she reads the situation well. She's loyal, perhaps to a fault, but you can't help but like her. Actually, most of the characters are really great. And in fact, what I love most about the film are the little peeks we get into family life.
Hold it, girl. Where you going? I told you not to answer the door this time of night. These nights the boogeyman's gonna come in and take your little behind right out of here.
There are so many wonderful scenes. I really love the conversations that Emma has with the littlest cousin, and there's this fantastic scene where some ladies come over in the morning to get their hair done by MMA's aunt, and they sit around and they smoke cigarettes and they chat and they gossip, and it is really just wonderful. It reminded me a lot of my childhood, where my mom and her friends would sit around the kitchen and smoke cigarettes and perm their hairs. Yeah, kind of gives you a little of that nostalgia. I also really like the dialogue in this movie. Some of the slang is pretty cool.
Hey, sucker! What you call yourself doing trying to put this boogie bear hair up on my main boss just 'cause he loaded, huh?
I ain't gonna be too many suckers, and furthermore, I think you better check your mitts.
Check your mitts. That's a fun way to say get your hands off me. Actually, when I first saw this movie, I thought he said check your mints, which I thought was like a roundabout way of saying that your breath stinks, so like step off or whatever. And admittedly, I kind of like the check your mints better, but I don't think that's the line, so check your mitts, still pretty good. And that's kind of a silly, like, I did appreciate the fact that the romantic interest was a Rob-sized human. Not many romantic leads are me-sized. It's difficult to frame me-sized people with shorties. See, it just looks awkward. But here they are, and that makes me feel good. Representation matters. But despite the great family dynamics, some pretty good dialogue, and a quite likable main character, the movie's not perfect. Like a short country girl grinding on her giant of a man, it has some shortcomings. Well, the film does get a little heavy-handed with some of its messaging. I mean, not by modern standards. Modern movies really suck in this regard. But, you know, just sort of objectively, it's a little, just a tiny bit heavy-handed.
They always talking about how we young people never try to do nothing but use dope and kill each other up in the street. Then when we try to do something the way they say it's supposed to be done, they mess with us and try to shut us down.
Not a super big deal, especially if you don't mind modern movies, because they don't know how to do that at all. My only real complaint, though, is the movie doesn't do a very good job of establishing how much time has passed. It's often not clear. Is this the same day? Is it a day later? Is it weeks later? Is it months later? We just don't know. When I watched the film the first time, one thing I didn't like was the relationship with Jesse. I just didn't get how a smart woman like MMA could fall for someone like that. He's a total loser. But, you know, upon watching it a few more times, I can't hold this against the movie. Sometimes smart people fall and fall hard for the wrong person, and it ruins our lives. Anyway, both of those complaints, the timing complaint and the falling for Jesse complaint, kind of play together because it seems like she falls for him a bit quicker than one should. But I think this is because the film just doesn't do a great job of establishing how much time has gone by. But, you know, it's not such a big deal. It's easily forgivable, especially when we keep in mind this is a student film. Like, oh my God, basically a kid made this thing, and it's amazing. And so, on my ed scale, I say buy it. This is a great one to share with friends or even family members who don't normally go for blaxploitation films. Hell, even Becky might like it if she could stop being a bitch for like 5 minutes of her life.
What is that?
This is a tortilla.
Tortilla?
Yeah.
Look like dry cornbread to me.